Hi, my name is Brendan. Today's Daily Cyber, I'm going to be talking about how to optimize your security budget. So let's hack at it. I'd like to thank our sponsor for this episode, USATO. USATO is a Canadian-based cybersecurity company that provides 24/7 cybersecurity support and compliance service that align their customers' tolerance for risk, their clients, suppliers, and government contractual mandates. USATO's teams focus on using insights to drive business decisions. There's no need to leave strategies to chance, when insights can be used to show what changes need to be made and how to make them. USATO offers multiple services to help companies simplify IT, centralize cybersecurity management, and meet compliance standards. USATO can customize their service to work with your existing IT network and programs. For more information, contact USATO at info@uzado.com or visit their website at www.uzado.com. Okay, so in this Daily Cyber, this is going to be pretty dense information. I've got two articles that I've been reading just to catch up on all the transition, everything that's been going on with phase 2 in Ontario of companies starting to open up. So I thought these two articles would be kind of hit home when it comes to cybersecurity. So the first one is, got it from, just give me a second here, Dark Reading, and the title is CISO Dialogue, How to Optimize Your Security Budget. There are many different approaches to managing a security budget, and CISOs organize and prioritize uniquely based on the company, industry, and threats. 3 consistent areas of spending are identity access management, IAM, global risk and compliance, GRC, and security operations. And this is from Brett Wahlin, CISO of Amazon Prime Video. And he was making some notes in the article, which I'll have the link below. IAM, Identity Access Manager, is always a mess because no one wants to deal with access management, passwords, access sprawl, and so on. GRC, which is government risk compliance, is difficult because there are always new regulations to remain compliant with. Privacy, in particular, is an ongoing challenge. With security operations, levels of effectiveness vary. Brett Wahlin stated, posed several questions for consideration. Is it in-house? Are you outsourcing to an MSSP, managed security service provider? How are you measuring effectiveness? It's an area where I often have to retool from a people, process, and technology standpoint. So some of the points that he was giving to take a look at as you're going through your budget, look at 3 most problematic areas: IAM, Identity Access Management, GRC, Government Risk Compliance, and Security Operations. You can always find things to fix, and we'll give you some quick wins. Next is know your industry and how your security program can help the company grow. Next is you will need to be able to consistently communicate the value you're bringing to the table. It's how you will get your budget, and importantly, it's how you'll keep it. Partnering with business. It's not just a catch-all phrase batted around at security conferences. Learn what it means for your company and be a good partner. Think like an architect. As you build a program, how do the different functions interact with each other? How do you plan to grow based on shared communication? And don't be afraid to pull something out if it's not raising the security bar for your company. So some good tips there from Brett. Just give me a second here. Brett Wahlin, the CISO of Amazon Prime Video. The link to the full article is below. With changes and with people forecasting because of their reopening and opening up their companies and trying to see which areas they need to work on, theirs are some just recommendations. IAM, GRC, give me a second here, and security operations. Also, breach compliance or breach assessment I would recommend people look at. Cloud security, which brings me into the next article that I was looking at and this was from CISO Mag. 76.36% believe cloud service providers is responsible for security. Now, CISO Mag did a survey from all their readers, and what they found was 76.36% said that cloud service providers is entirely responsible for the security of the cloud, And then now in the article they say 40%, but the numbers don't really work out. So it's really 23.64% stated that it's the cloud consumer's responsibility. So you can see the difference here. One's saying it's the CSP, which is the cloud service provider, Amazon, Microsoft, Google. They're responsible for security. Well, only 23% says no, it's us. It's the consumer, the people who are buying it, who are actually purchasing the service, is responsible. Now, looking at these numbers, you can kind of tell the shared responsibility model that Amazon refers it to is really not clear on who's responsible for security. Now, when it comes to Amazon, here's how they define it. Amazon defines a shared responsibility model that says security of the cloud. So let's clarify that, of the cloud, which means their hardware, their infrastructure, their buildings, access points for employees to get in and manage the servers, is the responsibility of the cloud service provider. But security in the cloud. So when you open up a cloud instance, when you put any SaaS, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, whatever that may be, into their service, their cloud solution, the responsibility is back on the consumer. Right. So it's very important to understand that, because I've got these questions that come up as I'm going out and talking to people that, oh, don't worry. I think the cloud service provider, they're responsible for all the security. So I don't have to worry about that. That's what I've been told, or that's what I understand. The truth of the matter is exactly what I said. The actual infrastructure, the hardware and all that, yes, is Amazon, Google's, Microsoft's responsibility. What you put on those servers, right? What you put in the cloud is your responsibility. You have to secure it. So whatever that model is, you have to look at hardening it. So if you're already in the cloud and I'm going to say new to the cloud solutions, make sure you do an audit, right? Ask the IT department that did the installation that they can review it. Then have a third-party validation to confirm that it's secure. The reason why I say a third-party validation is so important, this is something that I've learned time and time again, being in this industry and just hearing why it's valuable, and what I'm sharing to you is, you don't want the same people that did the work validating the work has been done and completed and is up to a certain standard. You want to have a third party come in and validate it. And the reason why that is, mistakes are made, things happen. And I'm not saying companies are making mistakes on purpose, but just things happen. You want to have someone that's maybe a security expert in the field of cloud security come in and audit what the IT team did or what your IT managed service company did, just to validate that everything is secure. It can be redundant, but it also could save you a lot of risk, headache, and potential financial loss. So to do that and make sure it's secure, make sure that it's done properly is I highly recommend. All right, now, if you have any questions about that, please comment below or reach out to me. I think it's extremely important, especially when now we're looking at the new business practices and new business continuity. More and more companies are going to cloud solutions and cloud services to support their infrastructure, support their software, support their data, give access to their employees as well as partners, whatever that may be. So it's so important that we take the actions now to stay secure. So a lot covered. Some just quick topics I wanted to cover about the new business model and things that people want to look at. One, through my conversation, one important thing is always budget. Second is kind of solutions and technology. And I wanted to bring up the cloud because more and more companies are moving towards the cloud, and video conferencing and cloud solutions, from what I've been reading, are the two areas that have picked up drastically since end of February, since the COVID-19 pandemic started. So they went on an uptick that a lot of companies started to look at these two solutions. So it's so important to make sure they're secure, make sure you understand your budget. If you have any questions or need any help with budgeting, let me know, especially when it comes around security. My team can help to strategize and plan with you what you might need, what you want to look at, and just answer some good questions that you might have, right? And then ask you some really good technical or business related questions that you might not be thinking about, that we see day in and day out talking to different companies in different industries. The last thing I wanted to cover is there was a notification, or say a couple of days ago, we heard that Verizon and the telecommunication companies in the United States were getting compromised. And it was one of those things that you started to hear online first, but we didn't really hear it through the actual tech community. What we weren't seeing any articles, any news, anything along that line. So I know at Usado, our team went on a little bit of a high alert, made sure that we were monitoring our clients and making sure that, we were keeping an eye on everything just in case something did happen. We notified all our clients, we notified our community just to keep an eye out, because you never know when these things start to kind of arise in the network and what's happening. We never know if it's really kind of a real breach, or until, we get some people to report them and say, yeah, look, there's an issue. So what ended up happening, there was actually a technical issue with Verizon. I didn't kind of get into the actual article itself, but there was actually a technical issue. They had some problems with their telecommunication solution, and then they were able to resolve it and they were back up and going. But this goes to show that some things are maybe, false negatives, right? Where you're like, oh, this came up, it wasn't really, or actually, sorry, what would it be? A false positive? No, it'd be false negative. Either or, it was an alert that came up that we had to be aware of, and it ended up not being an incident at all. And I think it's important for us to just keep our ear to the ground when things like this happen, so that, our teams are on high alert, they're monitoring what's going on, and then, knock on wood, nothing did happen. But at least at that point, they were able to say, we were good, nothing happened, no one got compromised, and we were good to keep going with all the other things that we're working on. So that's it for the technical side of cybersecurity. The one thing I want to talk about, and I had a conversation this morning I've been having several conversations, to be honest with you, about this one point. And what it is work-life balance. Since people now are working from home, and what we're hearing is that the efficiency's gone up. People are thinking about, maybe this work from home strategy is a better thing. Companies are looking at to reduce their footprint when it comes to their office space, maybe downsize just because they don't need the same amount of staff coming in the office. All these great things. The one thing that I'm hearing that came up Monday of this week was that the work-life balance is actually changed, meaning that people are now at home and they're able to spend more time with their family and their kids, but they're working more, they're working longer, they're not taking breaks, right? And one of my colleagues who's a director was saying he's finding the efficiency's gone up, but he's also finding that now they're not taking breaks, because normally you could tell when they're offline or they're taking a break, or maybe they've gone for a walk or went for lunch or whatever that may be. But now he's saying you can kind of see a trend, right, from his staff and his team that they're not taking breaks and they're working longer. So they're working earlier in the morning and later in the afternoon, or even the evening. So what does that mean? Over time and distance, right, they're going to burn out, right? If they're going to burn out, and they're probably not going to be happy with their job and what they're doing, right? Because you need kind of that work-life balance. You need that enjoyment. Don't get me wrong. I mean, work hard, put your time in, enjoy what you do, but you also need to take a break, go for a walk, get some sun, get some food, get hydrated, all these great things. Because, and I remember reading an article months back, probably even last year or longer, talking about the sitting is the new health disease, right? Sitting for long periods of time and not taking a break and not moving can really affect your health. Well, if we're working from home and we're not taking breaks, that's so important. It's so important to get moving, especially guys like myself that are, sitting in front of a desk, sitting in front of, couple monitors you can see in the background. And I got 3 monitors that I'm sitting in front of and just constantly pounding it out. Well, even myself, I have to remind myself, every hour to 2 hours to get up, walk around, take a break, and just keep moving. I know for me, I've got a Bluetooth headphones as I'm doing calls. I'm actually standing up and walking around my office to make sure I'm moving. Because if I don't do that, I know I will sit for hours and hours on end, and I won't move. And that will now, for me, I'll get tightness in my hamstring and have different, health issues in the sense of tightness in my back, my hamstrings, and so forth. So it's so important. I know for me is to keep moving, keep stretching, kind of, keep the body flowing, make sure I keep hydrated. And I'm sharing that with you because it's great to be efficient. It's great to get some work done, but it's also for longevity, for your thinking, for your clarity, for troubleshooting. Everything that we have to do is make sure that we take care of ourselves and we keep, have that work-life balance. So make sure you do that. If you have any questions about that, look it up, Google it, see different strategies of taking breaks, putting stuff in your calendar and just to balance out. It's just so important to look after yourself, and especially with all the stressors that are going on with the changes, the forecasting, the risks, when it comes to cybersecurity, the landscape is changing, how business continuity is changing. It's so important to be able to take care of your health because we have to be running on, all 9 cylinders, as we're going and being able to deliver, right, for ourselves and for our company. So just important just to look after yourself. So I wanted to add that in, just it's a key point as a reminder for me, as well as just something for you to make sure you stay healthy, and then, you're able to have a joyful, successful career and, keep helping your colleagues around you and stay healthy. So that's it for today's video. All the links for the articles are going to be in the description below. So if you have any questions about what I've mentioned, just take a look at the articles and comment below. If you're new to my podcast, like, comment, and share. Share amongst your community, amongst your colleagues, amongst your friends. My goal is to give as much value and much education as I can to help out people just stay protected and use cybersecurity strategies to help protect themselves and their business. So that's it for today's Daily Cyber. I just want to remind you, don't forget, software is hackable, being connected is vulnerable. I'll see you next Daily Cyber.